We've got ones that can see. Welcome, everybody, to today's show. As we all know, our government always speaks in code. Secret societies obviously communicate in codes. That's a lot of the symbolism that we see on magazine covers where they flash their one-eye symbolism. No different than a gang flashes their allegiance to one another through street codes. It's exactly what our government does. And I was actually recommended this video on YouTube that's called "Can Pizza Deliveries to the Pentagon Forecast an International Crisis?" A video from Inside Edition, which is coded, that I'll play for you momentarily. So I immediately looked up if anything was going on with the Pentagon and pizza. And lo and behold, the New York Times, the USA Today, all these mainstream media outlets have articles out there pertaining to Pentagon pizza. And it's one of the most ridiculous things that I've seen in a long time. But if you actually think that this was being published, this was being released by the USA Today and all these mainstream publications because they were trying to be quirky or entertaining, think again. They're talking about how there was a spike in pizza deliveries prior to the preemptive strike on Iran. So it's very, very coded, but obviously if you know what pizza is code for, then it all starts to make sense to you. And if you know those people who America is obviously in bed with, known as the Synagogue of Satan, and you know what their books teach about that subject on pizza, well then you realize that this story is just their way of communicating out in the open, holding up a middle finger, knowing that the dumbed down sheeple around us will think that mainstream media publications like the USA Today were actually tracking pizza deliveries, as in Domino's, Pizza Hut, not the real pizza deliveries that they're referencing. As if the government was trying to figure out, and the mainstream media was trying to figure out, was there a spike in pizza deliveries prior to the strike on Iran? Did Papa John's get a lot of phone calls? Did Pizza Hut get a lot of phone calls? Did maybe that Comet place get a lot of phone calls too? That's what these articles are out there about. The Pentagon Pizza Report on X monitors foot traffic at pizza shops near the Department of Defense in Arlington, Virginia. And then after logging normal foot traffic on Thursday, the account recorded extremely high levels of traffic leading up to Israel's early morning, June 13th, Friday the 13th, attack on Iran. So keywords in there, including pizza, are also traffic. And you'll hear that a lot in these articles. Now, before I play you this clip that aired on Inside Edition, remember, we've been indoctrinated with pizza, the food, for our entire lives. It's a very popular food. Everybody, for the most part, likes pizza, the food, right? Growing up, a lot of us were indoctrinated with things like the Ninja Turtles, right? Nobody thought twice about why these mutant turtles were obsessed with pizza, how they got their power from pizza, that red sauce specifically that's on that pizza, or just the posts that I've covered over the years. And again, my archive is available on the website on this topic. And if you're on the website, I highly recommend, if you haven't seen them yet, that those are the videos that you watch if you're looking to watch some of my older content, so you could realize that this is one of the biggest cover-ups in the history of the world. So we have pictures of people like Miley Cyrus, right? Now, these are not normal photos. Licking its tongue out at the pizza, wearing a pizza onesie, right? People like Macaulay Culkin starting bands, when we all know Macaulay Culkin was involved with people like Michael Jackson and Hollywood, was a very young age. Some of the stories that Macaulay has even discussed with some of the higher ups in Hollywood. He just decided to start a band called Underground Pizza, right? And then, of course, we have even people like Stephen Colbert and Katy Perry. All these people just love to make really weird poses with pizza, right? Just like they all love to hold their hand up over their eye. So I'm going to play for you this clip from Inside Edition, but let me show you another thing that's coded in there before you see this live clip, because they bring up a screen grab of this X account called Pentagon Pizza Report. This is from Inside Edition, this image you see on the screen right now. And if you scroll, if you look at the bottom, it says Slong McDong. So obviously that's a reference right there to male genitalia. So whoever was working at Inside Edition, who was producing this piece, took a screenshot of this and put this out for the world to see. So this is just deliberately how they do this stuff, because this is one of the most ridiculous clips you'll ever see. This is airing on national news. This is being public. This is in publications like the USA Today. They want to let you know that there's a spike in pizza around Washington, D.C. and at the Pentagon And of course, it's because so many people are working, because there's a lot of people in the offices on a Friday the 13th in the middle of the night who are ordering pizza. Give me a break.
Can pizza deliveries to the Pentagon serve as a predictor of a looming international crisis? That's what happened when Israel launched its preemptive strike on Iran last week. According to an account on X called the Pentagon Pizza Report, nearly all pizza establishments nearby the Pentagon have experienced a huge surge in activity. Here's why. When U.S. military personnel face a national emergency, they work late into the night and can't leave their desks. So, ordering pizza from local pizza joints is the cheapest and easiest choice for food, other than the Pentagon canteen. At 8:57 p.m. Thursday, the Pentagon Pizza Report reported that the closest and second closest Domino's to the Pentagon had surged in traffic. Surges in pizza deliveries were also reported at other local pizza places like District Pizza Palace and We the Pizza. Some 30,000 people work at the Pentagon, so that's a lot of pizza. And look at this video. An Iranian anchorwoman is live on air reporting on the military strikes when the state media center she's reporting from takes a direct hit from an Israeli missile. She makes a run for it as smoke and debris fill the screen.
So that right there is how they operate. Look at all those little things and those little nuances that they put in there. They wanted to tell you that 30,000 people are inside the Pentagon. They're all ordering pizza because we're supposed to believe these people are actually sitting at a desk when we already know most of this stuff is being done through artificial intelligence. None of these people who are getting paid with our tax money are actually there working at the Pentagon. But we're supposed to, of course, have the illusion that they're all walking around in their military outfits, that they're all just sitting at desks having communications with one another about preemptive strikes as if they need to be in the building to actually be involved with any communication with the synagogue of Satan themselves. So this is just a completely coded news clip. And of course, I'm sure you all had a little laugh at the end. How they showed you, it looked like it was right out of Wag the Dog. The scenes from Wag the Dog where they show you how scripted wars really are, how most of them are done in front of a green screen, where they show you the woman speaking on television and then, of course, a bomb going off and running away to the side. It couldn't be more comical, but it's also a very frightening reality that we live in, because these people are so sick and so sinister, and they use these code words right in front of our faces because they know they can get away with it. We have things like this that appeared in that 2-minute clip. Nearly all pizza establishments nearby the Pentagon have experienced a huge surge in activity, surged in traffic. So I wonder what they're really trying to tell us here. Are they really trying to communicate with us that all of a sudden, that there's, first of all, are we supposed to believe that there's literally an X account? Is this person a homeowner who is tracking? I mean, this is obviously the government's own handle, Pentagon Pizza Report, that there's some person who's monitoring pizza deliveries around the Pentagon and then reporting it on Twitter. How would that even work? How would you get all of this data? On foot traffic. What are you filming? Everybody going in and out of Domino's and Pizza Hut and Papa John's and all these pizza places that are over there? It makes no sense whatsoever how there's even data on it, because there could be people going in, paying with cash. So it's not something that's done electronically. And it says foot traffic. That's what they're talking about, foot traffic. So we're supposed to be some individual has nothing better to do and decided to pick the Pentagon. And the government was okay with some civilian picking the Pentagon to monitor and traffic the pizza reports and how much pizza is getting delivered to the Pentagon. I mean, give me another break, right? You even saw in there when they showed you some of the pizza places, Pizza Palace, they even wanted to show you We the Pizza, where you actually have the pentagram inside of the circle as well. And that's a 2-minute clip filled with little innuendos. And then we're supposed to believe that all these articles from The Guardian, USA Today, Yahoo, they're all talking about Pentagon Pizza Index, the theory that surging pizza orders signal global crises, right? And these sheeple read that stuff and actually what they're telling you is that there's probably a very heavy increase in real pizza deliveries around the Pentagon, with this news, of course, that the synagogue of Satan and America are fully joined at the hip. Pentagon Pizza Monitor predicted busy night ahead of Israel's attack on Iran. And again, these people want you to believe that this whole theory of Pentagon Pizza is something that just went out there because the U.S., they want you to think, well, the U.S. knew ahead of time. So they were putting these articles out because the United States, all of the people in the Pentagon, somehow civilians are monitoring Pentagon activity because there's a surge in pizza deliveries to the Pentagon, right? As if the government would allow a civilian to track and monitor anything going on with the Pentagon. But we're supposed to believe that some civilian was tracking it. There was a spike right before the bombs went because America knew, because they're in bed with Israel. And of course, we're going to see, obviously, a lot of false flags that come out of this in America, where they tell us that Iran has set something off in America when it's really your own government and the Mossad setting these things off in America. And it'll be blamed on Iran, of course, to get the moral support of the sheeple, who will believe whatever they're told in the mainstream media, even though they love to run around and say fake news, fake news, fake news, and they don't realize everything in the news is manufactured. All these stories are manufactured to manufacture the person listening to the story. Like the old commercial used to say.
Your living room is the factory. The product being manufactured is you.
Right, the product being manufactured is you. So this is how sick they really are. I just wanted to do a video on it because, again, I got recommended this video from Inside Edition. Can pizza deliveries to the Pentagon forecast an international crisis? And I just saw the picture and I was just like, whoa, this is probably coded, because this is like a ridiculous type of story. Makes zero sense. How would this even get written in the first place? Who came up with the idea to track pizza deliveries? Why would they even make this national news? Why would this be in the USA Today? And then, of course, they try to give you the underlying theme of, well, America knew beforehand, free Palestine. But really what they're doing is communicating with the people who are awake, who can actually see through their headlines, who can actually see through their lies. Because once you have eyes to see and ears to hear, then this stuff starts making sense to you, that they don't publicize these things. They don't put out stupid stories about surges in Pentagon traffic for pizza deliveries, unless they're talking about something that's coded. And that's exactly what this is. So these people are so sinister and so sick. It doesn't surprise me that they would put this out, but I had to do a video on it so everybody out there could see how obvious this is. Most of the people who have or are still listening to my content, whatever platform you might be on and hearing this, likely the website, obviously most of you should be aware of all of the stuff pertaining to pizza that I've covered over the years. And if you're not, I highly recommend you go through the archive videos and watch all of that content. Of course, only if you could stomach what's really going on. A lot of people don't even want to stomach it. I don't blame them. But I mean, I have stuff on that. I have stuff on McMartin. So these are important topics. These are obviously topics that tie into everything that's taught in the synagogue of Satan about these disgusting deeds and how these people brag openly about it. And then, of course, we know how they had to create that massive psyop around that pizza place with a shooter to silence free speech back at the end of 2016. And that's when all the censorship started to come in. I thank everybody for being here. I hope you're all doing well. God bless you and your families, as always.